Alrighty, it's the next day. Got the header gaskets in. Amazon came through for us again. This is my plans. Take this header gaskets. That way I can, I don't know if you guys ever heard of gasket matching. We'll take these gaskets on here, and then we'll kind of draw a little line of what we need. But this, we're going to use the gaskets for a little different purpose. I'll bring you in a little closer and show you what I'm thinking. All right, so these, pull the header gaskets off. So as you can see, these are oval. I need to take weld and build weld up all the way up to probably here. Give me a little Sharpie. Where's all? I got my, as you can see, I got my workbench all organized. I know exactly where everything is now. I mean, I found that, no problem. I'm lying. It's not organized. All right. So somewhere about here to here, all that needs to be welded up. Same for down here, about where that line is to there. I need to weld all this up. So we get all this welded up. Once we get our, we're basically turning these oval headers into square tube headers, because this is the way the gas or the heads are. It's square port. Looks like, so it looks like side to side we're going to be good enough, so I shouldn't have to do any welding there. And basically we just got to weld in here, so we'll probably take the grinder and clean that up so we can get a good weld in, and then we'll take a flap wheel afterwards and even it with the I don't know what I'm trying to say, make it flat with this surface. But all right, let's hook the camera back up and do some grinding. Let's see, I need some safety glasses and probably some earmuffs. Oh, I need to turn the air compressor on. So you can see alright, so as you can see, I kind of cleaned up in here so we can start welding that up, basically filling that up. We're going to turn oval to square, and then I bead this so we can get a nice good weld on it. We'll get the old welder hooked up real quick. Air compressor is getting kind of weak. The compressor itself is just a single stage cylinder. I want to see if I can try to get a V or a twin, not a V. Why did I say V? I want to get a twin cylinder, one they sell at Harbor Freight. See if I can get some more air volume. That air compressor's at least 20 years old or older now. It's getting a little wore out. Okay, we need to crank the temp up. Nope, temperature's already cranked up. All right, so we're good there. The old welding helmet. Okay, gloves. Probably had to put my welding sleeves on so I don't burn right there, but it's just such a beautiful day. I don't feel like putting them on. Tangled up already. I haven't even started. All right. Let's get these out of the way so we don't mess them up. We're going to weld up our V's first. We should have a good ground. Got this cranked up pretty high. Woo. Probably could have got it hotter, but it's only 3 little spots. Now we'll take a flap wheel, clean that up. Guess I didn't need to shut the gas off, but it's always a habit. And let's put the glasses back on. Looks like our flap disc has about had it. So you don't have to weld these or grind these welds off because it looks like they'll clear, but I don't want to take any chances. So you can grind it all the way down because we V'd it, so we got good penetration all the way in. Can't quite get into that one, so we'll probably have to take the grinder on that one. Where do you go? Yeah, we'll use the air grinder on that one. You can see, all ground down, looking a little better. Almost looks like it used to be a one-piece header. I don't think I can get the grinder in there, but I'm not too worried about the inside or outside. Mainly the inside's what I'm worried about. Okay. Oh. Keep forgetting to put my earmuffs on. Uh-huh. Ugh. Yeah, can't really get the flap wheel in there anyway. That's good enough. I can make it look prettier and prettier, but at the end of the day, it's still just going on a Ford. Just kidding. All right. We're going to grab one of these gaskets. Put one of these gaskets on there. And see if we can't figure out what we need to weld. Which it looks like at the bottom, once you line these holes up, looks like we won't have to put much weld at the bottom, but the top, holy cow, it's going to need a lot. Huh. Probably need to go get the other manifolds and make sure these fit on there. Let's go. I think I had them throw it in the back of the truck. Let's go make sure these gaskets fit the stock manifold. Go out to Oldblue. Okay. There's the manifold. Let's flip this dude over. Looks like a perfect match. Try to get this set up where we can all see it. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed, and I'm not the most coordinated person. Okay. Oh yeah, those are right on the money. All right, so that tells me we definitely got to go by this gasket. So wherever this gasket sits, once we line the holes up, that's how much weld we got to put in. That sucks because at the top of the oval on the header, it looks like we're going to have to weld almost this much. Well, may have to go get some metal, some filler metal. Cut maybe a couple strips of 1/8 plate or something. I don't know. Let's mark it out first, and we'll just have to figure this out real quick. I know we'll figure it out. We always do. We always do. All right. I was thinking offset this, line up these holes, and then take a straight edge over it. Or maybe I can do a speed square. No, straight edge would be better. Okay. Holes are lined up. So all I'm doing is putting the straight edge all the way across all the ports. Oh, yeah, baby, that's a lot. Okay. And our holes are still lined up, so now we'll do the same thing for the bottom. We'll line this up across all 4 ports, square ports, and then we'll mark it there. So it looks like, as far as our bottom port, looks like we may be good, at least on that one. So now we'll offset it this way, do the same thing, line it all the holes up, offset our gasket, take our straight edge. We're going all the way across all 4 ports, marking it right up here. Lift that up. Holes are still lined up. Do the same thing to our bottom ports. They're all lined up. Do the bottom. And there's our bottom. Take this, put that off to the side, then line this up. From here to here, since we marked these, now we know where our bottom goes. I gotta find something better than a damn black Sharpie on black headers. That would probably make more sense. Okay, we're going to our top. Doing the same thing. I'm just going to go all the way across. Ain't going to hurt nothing. Way if I wipe off the mark a little bit, I can kind of roughly see where it is again. Show you guys kind of what's going on now. So now you can see. Let me move this closer to you. We'll go to this one right here. Kind of show you. Use that as a mark. So basically everything on the top of that, we got to close all that up. All that gap up with the. So basically we got to weld all that crap up right there. Going to restrict the flow a little bit, but we're trying to make a set of free headers work. Trying to use what we got. So it looks like the bottoms we're not going to have to weld very much, just a tad bit. This was probably about the only one we're going to have to really weld. The rest of them look like they may be all right. So we got to figure out, do we just weld like that, let it cool down, and then come back and do another weld on top of another weld and just keep building it up to that? Or do we actually get a chunk of metal? Problem is, I think the chunk of metal would have to be pretty thick so it doesn't burn away with the heat. I'm thinking with the weld, it'd take a lot to burn that out. We get it puddled up good. But, I do have some thick metal, but I don't know if I want to put a bunch of time in that. Maybe quicker just to weld it up, and let's just go ahead and throw a weld at the bottom and see how it's gonna do. All this stuff out of the way. Throw it on our workbench. That way it just almost falls off, but not quite. Set you guys back up. A little bit up out of the way. Okay. My daughter Bailey got me this shirt. So, yeah, do what it says if you don't mind. Thanks. I don't know if you can. All right. Fire it back up. I don't know if I want to keep the heat high on this or not. This is thicker metal here too. Let's see what it'll do. You got to have ground. So they say. They say you want a ground when you weld. Okay. Let's just do this little spot right here. Kind of like that. A little hot. Got my finger on it a little bit. I was looking for my wire brush. I had a file. Oh no, you know what? I had David put the wire brush up for me. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I was thinking. Right there. You can see. Not quite a square, but you can see how that should work. Grind that down with the flap wheel a little bit. Make it all even. Oh, let's do this next one. What the hey? Either work or it won't. Starting at the bottom first. The bottom of the oval. And I'm just kind of working my way up. A couple times when you hear me shutting it off, this is almost too hot, but I want it where it's melting in there good. So I'm having to let off a little bit and let the puddle kind of catch up. I like it. Looking pretty good. It is just burning our mark away. But we can kind of at least eyeball it, get it close, and then we'll gasket match it again. And then we know how much to grind off. I think I'm going to go for it. I think I'm going to go ahead and start welding the top. Spin this around. Round, round, baby. Round, round. Like a record player. Just like so. Just knock everything off my workbench. Okay. Moment of truth. Uh-oh. What's going on? Okay, it's not liking that too much, so I'm going to weld one side and let it cool down. Go down the other side. Almost sounded like it blew through. No, it didn't. Must have just echoed. Yeah. Cutter's about had it, I think. Mm-hmm. So we got a lot to welding doing. We'll let that cool down a little bit. I don't think it'll warp, but it may. I'm looking at it. It's looking pretty good. I'll let it cool down. May do the old cool it down with the air for a little bit. If I can find what I did with my air tool. You ever been so lazy when you get something it was stuck in a box full of other stuff and it's like this? You ever been so lazy you just lean over to grab it and you're wiggling it and fighting it and knocking crap on the ground and you're trying to get that out of there when you could have just went like this and moved the stuff with your other hand? But instead, it's like this arm's broke, you can't use it, so you're just like, I think it's called being lazy. Alright, pull this down. Actually, let's blow this crap off. It's still hot, but it's I can touch it now. Alright, where's my little brush? Oh yeah, I threw it on the ground. Smell something burning. Must be the header paint, I hope. Wow, that is really close now. Nice. Let's do some more welding. Okay. Let it cool down some more. Looks like I need to put a little bit more weld right down at the bottom of this one. I'm trying to weld this pretty thick. Yeah. Yeah. Boy. that's still hot. Ooh, that's still hot. Ooh, I can grind a lot of that out. Okay, so now with the gasket on here, I'll show you. Now we can actually gasket match it. Take a look at that. See where you can see the welds? Holes are lined up. See little welds on each one now. That one, I got a little carried away on that one. So now we can go in here and mark it and gasket match it. Now we can take that out and cut where the gasket is or was. All right. Time to start welding up these headers, make them square tube also. All right. Gas is on, I think. Yep. Got that powered up. Okay, we're ready to rock and roll. Getting little splatters on her. Screwdriver. All right. Iron hole. Gotta have a ground. let her cool down a little bit. Probably don't have to let it cool down because headers do get very, very hot. Getting sleepy. Not very talkative today. I'm sleepy. Wish YouTube would let me play music. I guess we can spin this dude around. That looks like poo-poo. Oh. That looks like poo-poo too. Getting in a hurry. Wanting done. I don't want to mess with it no more. I'm tired. I think we're about to call it quits. I'm running out of gas. That 15-mile bike ride whooped my ass. Does that rhyme? Hell, I don't know. Whew. Whew. Ruby did 15-mile an hour or 15-mile bike ride with us, and she's out there right now on the trampoline. She's been out there for at least 2 hours, jumping and jumping and flipping. Whew. I don't know how she does it. I'm about to fall asleep standing up. Where's my assistant? Assistant. Where's my assistant? Mr. David, why are you not doing this? Come on. Almost done. Ugh. That's looking more like a square. A lot of work, but hey, at least these headers are going to get used. I did notice since I've cut that, it did separate a little bit, which shouldn't be no big deal. We can tweak it once we get it on the motor. We can probably start these bolts first, tighten them down, and then in this we can bend it or tweak it to get this set on. Or I may put it in the vise. See if I can straighten it up that way. I mean, it's real close. I probably should have kept that together and welded it, but I don't know. Yeah, I kind of want to grind that down and do all that, but it's already after 7 and I'm this sleepy. I'm going to end up just messing something up. Messing this up or messing me up, one of the two. Oh, I think it's good enough. I'll hang out here 15-20 minutes, kind of putting stuff up. That way give me time, make sure nothing catches fire. I don't like to leave the shop until 15-20 minutes after I weld or do a lot of grinding. Just be on the safe side. Don't want no damn shop fire. Because I don't like dealing with insurance. All they are is a bunch of crooks. And I'll tell it to their face. Alright. We'll shut the air off. Just kind of let that air cool. Alrighty. I don't even have to say it. All I gotta go is bam, bam. Please. Alright, peace out.